Hey, what up, legends? How's it going? Kiwin Bacon here. Now, as a first on the channel, I'll be doing a little bit of theory crafting today. I'll be talking about a deck that many players have been interested in since all of the cards from the Boomsday project have been revealed. And today I decided I was going to be talking about a deck called Magnetic Bomber, or Bomb Hunter for short. And I'll be doing that in just a moment. Before we do anything, expansion's coming out, and I know a lot of you guys have not had the chance of purchasing the expansion pre-purchase, whether it's because you don't have money for it or you just prefer playing as a free-to-play. Completely understand that, so I got you covered. I will be doing a giveaway 2 days after the expansion comes out on that Thursday. Gonna be giving away a ton of Hearthstone card packs to the viewers, you guys, and so if you want to participate in that, it's going to be entirely based on the YouTube channel, not during stream or anything. I'm just going to choose winners via my subs, and I'll send them some Hearthstone card packs. So if you want to participate, leave a comment down in the comment section. That'll make me pretty happy about that. Just let me know why you should win those card packs. It should be pretty simple. Now, first things first. The deck that I'm talking about today was posted on Hearthpwn by Willpawn, and I thank him very much for this fantastic deck. Many of the cards in this deck are from the new expansion, and I don't know if all of those cards are the definitive cards that we're going to see as the expansion comes out, but as of now, the link to that deck is going to be in the description. You guys can go check it out, and Will made a fantastic guide explaining his thoughts about the deck and whatnot. And since this is a Theorycraft video, I'm going to go through those. Basically, the deck idea is that you don't want to OTK your opponent. That's not really the goal of that. Your goal is to use the bodies of the goblin bombs to trade or to attack your opponent's face. You know, you're going to buff those little 0-2 bodies. Your opponent is not really going to want to kill them, or else they know they're going to take that damage. You still have your hero power, so basically every turn you're going to slowly hurt your opponent into their inevitable demise. That's basically what I understand here. There's other versions of the deck that you could rule. You could actually run a way to actually destroy all of your bombs all at once. For example, you could be running the Necro Mechanic as well as a Void Ripper and just deal a ton of damage to your opponent all in one go. If you want to go for it, that's up to you. I don't believe that's the point of this deck, because once all of your minions are dead, you know, if your opponent's not completely dead, well, you haven't won the game, and you made it a little harder for you because you don't have all those buddies to buff. So that's pretty much it. Now, as far as the cards that generate a ton of goblin bombs, we're going to have the new Hunter legendary Boommaster Flark. We also have a neutral common named Whirly Glider, the Explodinator, the goblin bomb itself, of course, and there's also, from what I understand, a Hunter card that is named Bomb Toss. It's a 2-mana spell, and it deals 2 damage and summons a bomb. And we're going to utilize those to remove a threat on the opponent's side and just create a little token bomb on our side. So that is the bomb base. Now, since the bombs are going to want to die with their Deathrattle, we do have Deathrattle synergy in the deck. I believe that the Firework tech is going to be very strong in this deck, as in you know, it's basically a 3-2 for 2, and it triggers Deathrattle. That's quite valuable. The Necro Mechanic, while being, you know, pretty expensive at 3/6 for 5 for 3/6 is not guaranteed to die the turn you play it. You know, it has 6 health. It's a little bulky. I feel like it will survive. You know, it might survive if your opponent doesn't have like a billion minions on their side. So you can actually place it down, and then the turn after you can kill some of your goblin bombs, I believe. So that might work out. Spirit Singer Umbra is interesting. I, however, do feel like she might actually be a little too slow for what you're trying to do. You're a hunter. You're basically a mid-range hunter, and Umbra needs to actually have you play a bomb, and then she will give you the Deathrattle effect. Though for 8, you know, there's cool combos you can do. For 8, for example, you can play an Explodinator, summon 2 bombs, and then deal 4 damage to your opponent. If you have her on the board, and then the turn afterwards you play Boommaster Flark, you're going to deal 8 damage. So there's different ways for you to utilize her, but at the same time it might be one of the slower ways to do so. That is just my opinion. Now the deck also plays a lot of magnetic cards, because you're going to have a ton of little token bombs on the board, and since you can't attack with them, you can actually use those magnetic minions to give attack to your 0/2s, and when you do that, then your opponent is going to realize that they're in trouble if they don't kill it, and if they do kill it, you know, it's like a double-edged sword, right? If they do kill it, they take damage, and if they don't kill it, they also take damage. So for those cards, I believe that my favorite best at the moment is Wargear, 5/5 mech for 5 magnetic. Super strong, especially in a Hunter deck. You know, originally Hunter didn't really have any buff cards specifically. So I feel like being able to play and charge, quote unquote, 5 damage with a little bomb is actually very, very valuable. There's also, if you play against somewhat aggressive decks, more aggressive than you, I mean, the Bronze Gatekeeper might be helpful. Now, the stat line for 3 mana card is not absolutely fantastic, as it's only a 1/5. So you don't really, you don't really want to play it on its own, but I feel like as a 1/7 on a Goblin Bomb, it might actually save you a lot of hassle. It probably won't kill that many things, but it's still a big body, and it lets you actually develop your board, put some more bombs on the board and whatnot. So I feel like that will work out decently well. I also enjoyed the Venomizer. I don't think it's the best card to actually play on the bomb, but since you also have other magnetic minions, I feel like a Venomizer on the Bronze Gatekeeper, 3/7 for 5 with poison could work, or something along those lines. So you could even put it on a Skater bot. It has Rush for 3 mana. Yeah, you spend 2 cards, but you could kill something. So I feel like it could help out. Now, there is one thing that I have as an issue with the deck itself. My problem is that... Hi, Cat. My problem is that you don't have that much card draw, right? You don't really draw any cards. You have to deal with what you have. And usually, hunters play around that by using 2 trackings. They also use the Death Knight, Deathstalker Rexar, so that way they can technically draw a card per turn. But in this deck, you're not going to be doing any of that, unfortunately. You're going to rely very heavily on the cards that you draw in order to slowly deal the damage that you need to your opponents. This might be kind of like a main issue that I see with the deck. But apart from that, you know, the deck is pretty darn well constructed. There's a very, very good curve. And you know, the one drop minions that you're running, including the bomb, you can have a ton of different mechs, so you're always going to have something to magnetize onto those mechs. It can be actually pretty difficult for your opponent to deal with those. You're gonna run the Mecharoo, you're gonna run the Skaterbot, the bomb, and then on turn 2 you can attach a Venomizer onto that, or if you prefer, you could just play another token generator like the Whirly Glider, get another bomb out, play a tech if you have it in your hand. And I feel like in the mulligans, you're going to be looking for a one-drop mech and also a firework tech. I think that would be a very, very good start to this game. It might be a little complicated to deal with other mid-range decks if they have either silences or, like against Priest, for example, Mass Dispel or whatnot. That would be absolutely terrible for you. And I feel like if this deck becomes really good, Priest is also going to become very good because they're just going to completely counter you. So that might be a little difficult. But all in all, the deck is pretty darn intense when it wants to be. For example, on turn 10, you can do a sweet combo in which you Spirit Singer Umbra, Explodonator, so that you get 2 bombs, so you deal 4 damage, and then you play a bomb toss on either a minion or the face, and so you either do 6 or 8 damage and summon 3 bombs in total. At which point, turn later or something, you can play a Fungal Mancer on them or Defender of Argus, you know, like a card that buffs those little bombs, and keep going for the face. So it's mostly chip damage that you're going to do through this deck, but the chip damage accumulates because your opponent doesn't really want to kill the little bombs because they know they'll take more damage if they do that. So it's a catch-22 deck. Technically, this deck is the definition of a catch-22. Like it's really weird, but I really appreciate that. There are a few cards that could have been included in the deck, and I recommend you try before you discard this deck completely. These cards were omitted, and it's kind of explained in the deck guide why those were removed. I personally feel like Deathstalker Rexard has a place in this deck because it's painful how much card draw you're lacking with this, and board clear. In my opinion, you don't have board clear with this deck. You're going to need something to help you power through aggression or something. You know, Defender of Argus is not enough. It can be a little complicated, so I feel like you might want to include the Deathstalker Rexar, but however, it was not put in. Another thing that is quite interesting is the fact that you're not actually playing Void Ripper. The Void Ripper would be, however, extremely sad to top deck when you have nothing on the board, you know? So it's really variable, and in turn is not really interesting unless you actually get what you need. So the variance is too high for you to actually want to do that. Now, I know there's going to be a ton of people that are going to run this deck with Void Ripper in it, and they're going to have just a great time. But overall, I feel like the Goblin Bomb Deathrattle synergy that you already have is going to be just what you need for this deck. Buff the little bomb and keep chipping at your enemy, and your enemy will not want to kill the bomb most of the time, so you're gonna accumulate more damage with the bomb. Overall, I believe like Will made in extremely strong and flavorful, extremely flavorful deck. This is what you'd think when you'd see like when you think of the hunter department in the Dr. Boom's lab, right? Boommaster Flark is all about this deck. So I don't know, I just really like the idea behind it. I really like the inspiration and the addition of all of these brand new cards that we're going to be seeing in about 5 days. So to me, this is going to be a day one try on the ladder. Don't know exactly how it's gonna go, but I guess we'll have to go with the bombs, and hopefully that'll be just well. So that is pretty much it for this very first Theorycraft video. Let me know in the comments how interested you are about the bomb hunter archetype, and apart from that, of course, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.